Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am Jello Clavano, and I'm honored and excited to be your host for today. Welcome to the first session of our BNI webinar series, Future Redesigned, where we'll discuss how business owners like us are working to restart the world. And we get front row seats to the best business insights in this exclusive session. For our BNI members who are here with us, we are delighted to have you all join us today. And to all the guests, the warmest welcome to you. Now, I'm sure we've all had to deal with the changes in our new normal. And most of them were big changes, moving from working at the office to working at home, or maybe making the shift of shutting down businesses or switching careers. With the right push, guidance, and perseverance, though, these challenges can actually be transformed into exciting opportunities. Of course, knowing the caliber of BNI members, many of you here have surely had your share of challenges this pandemic. As business professionals, most of us are used to the hustle and bustle of large-scale operations, and we had to learn how to re-strategize and scale down so as to adapt to the effects of the pandemic. Whatever the size of the business, though, I think we all know that each business has the power to help shape our communities and economies for the better. Today, we'll be hearing from remarkable entrepreneurs who've done just that. They forged ahead in these fast-changing times in shifting economic landscapes, where side hustles and innovative ideas became the next big thing. In these emerging businesses, they found a way to thrive. Let's learn from successful business owners as we make way for the Resurgence of Micropreneurs, BNI Dynamics' first ever webinar series. I can't wait to hear from our powerhouse lineup of speakers today. They'll share with us their stories of pivoting their businesses or careers during the pandemic. They will also be answering your burning questions for a Q&A session later on, so stay tuned for that. Before we begin, before we dive into the highly anticipated talks, first, let's take a note of a few guidelines. One, you may ask questions in the chat box below. Just type in your questions and we will get through as many of them as possible. Please give your full attention and take down notes. And lastly, keep an open mind. And we hope that you are able to absorb everything that we will be sharing with you today. And there we have it. Let us now kick off today's session. Before we turn over to the stage to our speakers, we want to quickly get to know all of you. How is everyone doing so far? As we move forward in this new normal together, it is important that we get to know where everyone is coming from. We would love to hear about your situation. So please share with us by answering the survey that's going to be flashed on the screen. Do you prefer to work from home or from the office? Or how does e-commerce play a role in your business and new careers? How did you take any financial risks during this pandemic? How did your work routine evolve during the pandemic? And what changes did you make because of this? I see answers are rolling in. We have a few more seconds to get them in, so please keep them coming. Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for participating. We have a little bit more to go. I see, wow, a lot of people are starting to answer. Work. Okay. So right now, we have a larger share of people who are now working from home in our audience. In terms of e-commerce, 83% of you are acknowledge that it is a vital role in our careers. So much more now than before. Another 80% of you talked about taking financial risks during this pandemic. That is, honestly, that's amazing. And it's glad to hear that we're all pushing really hard to try and find these find these opportunities wherever they go, despite the risks. Good to hear. Good to hear. In terms of work routines, I see a very even spread among everyone. From being more tech savvy to doing more multitasking, 60% of you say that is actually the top. Yes, I'm doing the same right now. You can't imagine all of the stuff on my screen at the moment. All right, and lastly, in terms of the changes that you needed to make because of this pandemic, 59% of you acknowledge that new products and new services are what is expected of you, and that is the point of our session today. We will be talking to people who've had to pivot and change and develop new strategies in order to get through this pandemic. All right. Thank you guys so much for participating. It's fascinating to see all of the results. You guys can check them out as well. And such interesting answers from all of you. Did you notice something in the questions, by the way? If you have a sharp eye, you'd see that our poll questions are actually nods to the topics of our webinar series, and especially the fifth, which we're going to be discussing today. And to officially open today's virtual event, let us now welcome the president of BNI Dynamic, Ms. Bet Vidanes.
Thank you, Jello Clavano. Good afternoon, dear BNI members and friends. Welcome to our BNI webinar series entitled Restarting the Future. This COVID-19 that has shocked the global economies and affected people's lives greatly is something that we will all have to reckon with. Until when? Nobody can really say, right? Meanwhile, so many businesses have closed or were either forced to temporarily lay off employees due to abrupt supply chain disruptions and tightened financial conditions. So for the next 4 webinars, which we hope you will all watch, we will be talking about Future Redesigned. For our first topic today, we will discuss the resurgence of micropreneurs, specifically on how some ordinary individuals like you and me have stepped forward and challenged themselves to reinvent their future. We would like to share how some BNI members, despite the challenges, are still eagerly moving forward, not just surviving, but even thriving with the help of our fellow BNI members, both locally and internationally. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and I hope this webinar will give you that push to restart your own future now. Back to you, Jello.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bet, for the wonderful welcoming remarks. Next, may we now call upon our Executive Director for BNI Taguig Region, Ms. Judy Quiazon, for her opening remarks.
Thank you, Jello. Welcome to our referral partners and friends in the business community. Well, BNI Taguig has been hosting webinar series since 2020 to really continue to support entrepreneurs in pivoting their businesses and to ensure that they thrive in these challenging times. Well, congratulations, BNI Dynamic, for organizing these succeeding sessions. You know, BNI is an exclusive team of business leaders. We are diverse in many ways. We do have the micropreneurs, small, medium, and even large entrepreneurs. You know, we meet and collaborate. These are all experts in their own field with varying experiences. But we consider ourselves drivers and enablers in accelerating business growth to support families, communities, and of course, our beloved Philippines. And today, we're excited to have you join us. And so let's co-create the future together. The floor is back to you, Jello.
Thank you, Ms. Judy, for setting the tone for our exciting session. Now, let's get the ball rolling and turn the spotlight to our first speaker this afternoon. This man is changing the game. In the fitness industry, this man was born and raised in Cebu. He moved to Manila and earned his degree in sports management at De La Salle University. After moving to Canada for work, he launched his career in fitness and has been heavily committed to growing his business ever since. In 2018, he founded HolyFit, a holistic wellness service company that has successfully trained and coached hundreds. With gyms being forced to close down during the pandemic, this remarkable business owner launched and co-founded HolyQuip to fill in the gap and answer the emerging demands for health and wellness, while people were still staying at home. Let us be inspired as he shares with us his story of how he capitalized on opportunities and developed his new venture in fitness in these ever-changing times. Let's all give a warm welcome to Jose Villablanca.
Thank you, Jello. I felt that when you said heavily invested. Yes, I did gain some weight. So again, guys, thank you for being here. I'm going to share a few tips on how we pivoted, one of the most used words in 2020. So my name is Jose Villablanca. Like I said, I was born and raised in Cebu, actually, and then I moved to Canada. And I was also a member of BNI Canada. So it was fun there. I did well. Then I moved back here, actually, in 2018, and I founded HolyFit. So it's short for holistic fitness. We have big clients like, basically I just follow the money. So we have big clients like Ernst & Young's, Sun Life, and a few others as well, to name. So basically, I was never a COO, or as I've heard someone say this, child of owner, but I wanted to be one though. It was an easier way to get through, right? So I was my own CEO. And I'll tell you why. I was actually in debt in Canada, $20,000 in my credit card. 10,000 of that went to vacations or something, consumer debt. The other 10,000 went into starting a business. I put on a credit card, and it was a big mistake. But as you can see here, we grew, and it was essentially just me alone, right? I was the only employee of HolyFit, and then we got busier and busier, and just kept growing and growing, and just hired people basically underneath me as we grew. So that was a good thing. I didn't have to borrow money from friends or anyone else, right? I did it on my own, which is a good thing, because then I valued money more, right? So our selling point really was, if some of you guys know, this is when we used to actually meet face-to-face, right? So thank you for the support, BNI, I just want to say that. So this is essentially my selling point, right? We're not gym instructors. What we do is we increase productivity, engagement, and camaraderie while decreasing health insurance costs, attrition, and stress. And that's why we partner up with MaxiCare and a few other HMOs to do this for companies. So really what I did was just listen to the market and follow the money. As you can see, we have big name clients here as well, like Shopee as well. We did this during the Chinese New Year. Again, this was all pre-pandemic. And then the pandemic hit, and so did my wallet. But I had to listen to the market, right? I saw a big gap, which was all gyms were closed, right? And then I was lucky. I'd like to say I was lucky, right? But I realized that it wasn't luck. They saw my business acumen, and I partnered with a friend. They've been importing for 30 years. So we started importing fitness equipment, and we co-founded HolyQuip, which is short for holistic equipment, right? We sold a few millions. I'm happy to say last week we paid ourselves again, our second dividend, so which is really, really good. So we started importing, listened to what the people wanted, started selling. And when ECQ season 2 happened, we sold more again. So as much as I don't want season 3 to happen, I want my HolyFit business to come back. But we were really doing well. So it really helped me grow my business, my other business I have 4 partners here as well. And as you can see, during the pandemic, we just went online. Look at this handsome man over here. I think he is from our chapter as well. So we helped them out. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone that's been supporting me through the pandemic. It was actually Katina who actually said this. If you know her, she's from our chapter as well. She told me that we should start selling equipment. And actually, in one ear, out the other, I didn't really listen to her because I was just having trouble with HolyFit during that time. So again, I just want to use this time to say thank you to everyone here at BNI. And that's my story, and I hope I have inspired you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jose, for that inspiring story. We look forward to hearing more from you and your insights later when we start our panel discussions and our Q&A. So guys, don't forget, please type in your questions below if you have any questions for Jose, and we'll make sure to answer as many as possible. At this point, we would like to welcome now our next speaker. Combining over 10 years of experience in sales, marketing, business development, and creative design, Our featured entrepreneur's unique background includes being a student leader in UP, a business administration graduate majoring in advertising at the International Academy of Management and Economics. She received accolades throughout her career, having been awarded the top sales performer in Joy Nostalgia Hotels and Suites and the Our Hero Award in the Intercontinental Hotels Group. With on-ground projects being put on hold during the pandemic, this remarkable business owner expanded beyond booth fabrications and focused on her printing services for her company, Fractal Designs and Concepts. Let us learn how our featured speaker embraced this change as a way to evolve and diversify their business services. Let us all give a warm welcome to our former BNI Dynamic President, Davy Reyes.
Okay, thanks, Jello. And I'm grateful to be among leaders and fellow entrepreneurs today. My journey in the printing business is largely also because of the leaders and entrepreneurs who helped us. My company, Fractal Designs and Concepts, is a niche ad agency that focuses on pharmaceutical clients. And in the heart of this are the many medical conventions happening annually among medical societies. We design, fabricate, and install booths from our clients during conventions. So when the pandemic hits, all these events were canceled. I remember being left with so much time and worries that I just started calling people, employees, friends, clients, former colleagues, BNI members, you name it, I called them. Not to solicit business, but to, ground myself and reach out. Among them is our business partner in printing. We invested some time ago on some machines with him, but personally, my husband and I really did get involved with the day-to-day operations and marketing. Now, this call paved an opportunity for us to really dive into a new venture, which is printing. Very quickly, I immersed myself in all things print, not just a client, as I am used to, but really in the production side. Papers, machines, stamping, lamination, you tell me, I've been learning so much about it. And this new information bled into the experiences that we already have as a company in concept and design. So with this, we were able to offer our clients a unique service wherein we truly understand the design part of the project and the production process of it. Most trade printers, as I've discovered, struggle with this. So with this, by July of 2020, when I originally envisioned myself in hotel exhibit halls, I then find myself, curiously enough, in the largest bagsakan of gulay and prutas in Urdaneta, Pangasinan. We were producing thick, UV-protected tarpaulins and signages for them. We secured a project, thanks to our trusted BNI referral partner, to be the sole provider for all the stalls in the bagsakan to modernize the market and make sure that their product stays fresh and shaded from the heat. I am giving them tips on how to make their signages more eye-catching, and my clients, in turn, were teaching me how to choose the best garlic, onions, and saba. And really, they are among my favorite clients kasi may pabaon pa. But some of them also turned into good friends. So my pandemic year is really filled by these snippets of sometimes heartwarming lessons and experiences and expanded client base. It's not really to romanticize the very real and daunting challenges we all face and still are facing. But my message here today for all of us is to just keep on moving, build your relationships along the way, because who knows, your next lifeline might just be a phone call away, just like mine. Thank you. Back to you, Jalo.
Thank you, Davy. That was a great story you told us. We look forward to hearing more about your story and your situation and how you got through all of that in the Q&A later. For now, let's move on to our next speaker. Graduated cum laude from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, our featured entrepreneur has built an impressive career with more than 35 years of experience in diverse industries, from freight forwarding to waste management. She was the head of the Philippine operations and general manager of Zytec Asia Pilipinas Inc., and also led as the general manager of Swiss International Airlines GSA. She was an active member in various organizations and held positions in the Chemical Association of the Philippines, or SPIC. At the height of the pandemic, this inspiring entrepreneur shifted careers from corporate to full-time business owner. She is the CEO of Vicron Resources OPC, providing solutions for chemical distribution, sanitation, and general cleaning. Let us discover what it takes to pivot successfully as our guest speaker shares her experience in making this big leap in uncertain times. Once again, let's give it up for Miss Bet Vidanes.
Thank you. Thanks again, Jello. So, big question. How did I really become an entrepreneur? Well, it's actually an accidental result of a big crisis in our family. My husband was diagnosed with end-stage renal disease sometime in 2018. Then 2019, his condition became worse as his kidney was no longer functioning. Come 2020, he was already doing dialysis 4 times a week and he badly needed a kidney transplant. So in the middle of the pandemic, last May 2020, I made a big decision to resign from my job as Director for Corporate Services and Business Development for an international freight forwarding company so that I could take care of my husband and spend time with him, and also to lessen the risk of for us contacting COVID because I was required to go to work and attend to clients. It was kind of difficult as much as we want to practice social distancing in the office because there was just so much activity going on in a logistics company. So I was not prepared to retire though. That was the big thing. Having worked all my life, I felt empty and useless. I felt I was not being very productive. So with a lot of prayers, the opportunity to distribute alcohol came about. There was a shortage of supply in March. I don't know if you remember that then. And my friends who knew that I had a lot of contact, having worked for various industries for 35 years, were asking me where they can buy them. So this all started with me just wanting to help my friends because they needed alcohol. So I contacted the owner of a manufacturing plant whom I knew back when I was a board of director for the Chemical Association of the Philippines. Then, to my surprise, and lo and behold, she offered me a distributorship agreement. So I grabbed the opportunity. I started with selling her alcohol. Then my clients started asking if I had other cleaning chemicals. So I started expanding my business to include chemicals for household, kitchen, laundry, car, sanitation, odor eradication, misting, fogging, as there is now a growing demand to ensure protection of homes and offices. And a big thanks, of course, to my BNI family, I found the strength and courage to start my own business and become an entrepreneur. I learned a lot from the young entrepreneurs in our chapter who could actually be my children as they are half my age. But then, of course, also the not so young with all their experience, and they all gave me the inspiration to proceed without fear. Of course, it started with them trying my products first for personal use, and because of the trust and confidence that we have built with each other, for all the business referrals that we were passing to each other and the one-to-ones that we had, they started referring me to their own network of business contacts. So now I'm so proud to say I am receiving referrals and orders from big companies who have started to buy from me because I was referred by their trusted contacts. I am very confident and positive that my business will continue to grow with the full support of my BNI family. Belonging to this BNI community of givers is truly a gift and a blessing, which I truly and sincerely thank God for. We can surely turn anything into possibilities, a crisis into opportunities, for as long as we have faith, coupled with that strong desire to rise above challenges. Thanks, Jello.
Thank you so much, Miss Bet Bet, for your words of wisdom. We can't wait to hear more from you at our Q&A later. Now, our next speaker. For our next speaker, we have a doctor who found a new way to help people despite the challenges he faced and the restrictions imposed upon his profession. He finished with a degree in Doctor of Optometry from Cebu Doctors University in 2009, aced his optometry boards as the top-notcher in 2010, finished his MBA in Ateneo in 2013, and successfully continued the clinic his mother established in 1982, Diane Optical. With the changes brought over by the pandemic, he added new services to the clinic, transforming it into a lab that does rapid tests, RT-PCR testing for COVID, and CPAS testing as well. Let's welcome to our virtual stage this practicing doctor who is now also a laboratory business owner, Dr. JP Lam.
All right. So my story is really it's more about relationships that had happened over the past few years now. So last year my mom was hospitalized, and I incurred a lot of debts in from the hospital. And eventually, when I started my clinic, of course, it was already ECQ during that time. So there weren't any businesses that was going on. And thankfully, a lot of our BNI members came to the office and really tried to help me out, actually. And they visited the hospital when my mom was there. And eventually, May last year, so it's already a year, my mom passed away. So I was left with a lot of debts, and the business wasn't really doing well. Then eventually I had COVID myself. I had to bring myself to the hospital. Then eventually a member referred me to her brother-in-law who does testing. And I had my test there. And for me, it was very convenient because during that time, it was a drive-through, and I just drove there and did my swab. And I thought, oh, it was a really good business. And then eventually, this BNI member who helped me with contacting her brother-in-law eventually connected me with him, and we became partners. So during the time, since business wasn't doing really great, I was thinking of how do I survive in this pandemic when I have like $40,000 worth of hospital bills to pay. And then so opportunity came, and when I had my COVID, then eventually I started hiring people, and then the business was very stable. And then that's how I got my business. So for me, I think it was really trusting people and opening up the doors. You know? And because of BNI, because of the relationships that was built, because of the care that they gave me, that's how I was able to shift the business. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you, Jalo, and for this.
Thank you very much, Dr. JP, for your enriching story. Thank you so much. We're excited to see what else we can learn from you at the Q&A. Up next, we have an inspiring personality who, from being both a psychometrician and a meditation and yoga teacher, has extended her skills and time to a new venture. She graduated with a degree in psychology at UP Diliman and is a proud advocate for the youth, and as well as the practice of integrating mindfulness and loving kindness into one's day-to-day routine. With the new normal arrived, she saw an opportunity to utilize her knowledge and skills, creating a strong business model in the process: health coaching. Let's give a warm welcome to the abundance coach of moment-to-moment stress management solutions, Kimmy Chua.
Hi everyone, I'm Kimmy, and for today I'd love to share the story, the journey, really starting off with experiencing a series of burnout. So it was a personal experience from graduate studies, and then being introduced to the mindfulness, meditation, yoga practice that has allowed me to cope during that season. And after which I started moment to moment just as a passion project. So back then, I didn't really see it as a business model. And then the practices and the techniques are too good and flexible enough that I cannot help but share it. And with that overflow, so we crafted it into a stress management solutions type of business, wherein we can put forward on the values of compassion, connection, and community. And it was a process of discovering, consulting, and also rebranding along the way and just going back to the basics. And we observed also the potential and the demand, and so it was a business opportunity. People in teams are actually willing to invest for the well-being of the community. And so with that, we used to do it pro bono, and or maybe at a really affordable rate. So one of the things that we'd like to do also is to make it accessible and less intimidating. Na parang, kailangan ba flexible ako, or kailangan ba strict yung pag-follow nito, So adapting it to one's own personality and profile as well, and whatever we may be going through at that moment. And so even integrating it, now that most of us are working from home, integrating it to doing daily chores. How can we make it feel less of a chore, such as washing the dishes, feeling and finding that a bit more relaxing, and also preparing food and the laundry. And so pre-pandemic, we would have our workshops ninja style. Na bigla we're in a public park or maybe in a coffee shop. And so we slowly had to adjust, syempre, with the pandemic happening. And we had to innovate, and thanks to technology, we would do it online. But at the same time, we were able to expand, not being limited this time to geographic reach, allowing us to reach nationwide. So initially partnered with school organizations, and then also some co-working spaces and teams who are now working from home and some hybrid. And so we are grateful that people are more open to these practices also, and of course looking for ways to care for our well-being. And now here we are serving the nation in our own capacity and reminding ourselves and individuals and teams na, hey, we're allowed to practice the pause with all the demands and expectations going on around us. It's okay to take a breather. And yes, uncertainty is there. Yes, all of these challenges will be here, and yet there's courage within each and every one of us. And as I cap off my story, I'll invite you to join me with a quick breath awareness practice, just capping off our week. It's Friday, and so I'll invite you to just have a long spine or an easy seated position, just sitting up straight, placing our hands on our laps, and just finding length in our spine and our chin parallel to the ground. I'll be guiding you to breathe in for 4 counts and then exhale for 4 counts. So together, let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. And just one more round, inhaling. And exhaling slowly. And so if you close your eyes, slowly opening your eyes. Thank you for joining me in that quick practice. And back to you, Jello.
Thank you very much for that both captivating and relaxing talk. I look forward to hearing what you have, and we're excited to hear what you more from you later. Our last speaker, last but absolutely not the least, we have our final speaker is a knowledgeable and vastly experienced individual. He holds a degree in economics as well as a master's degree in industrial relations and human resource development from UP Diliman. Aside from being an HR and organization development consultant, he's also an action reflection learning coach by profession. He was the former BNI Iconic President, BNI Taguig Region's Member of the Year awardee of 2020, and is currently the Support and Growth Director Consultant for BNI Elite. With his personal goal of building human capabilities and creating opportunities, he expanded his expertise and reach by representing the business of motorcycles and parts in BNI. Through his initiative, he's able to uplift more lives through mobility. Let's welcome to our virtual stage the Corporate Services Director of Philippine SGC Corporation, Louis Sala.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jello, for the very kind introduction. As someone actually representing for a large organization, as I was kind of thinking, what should I actually, share to the rest of the people, especially for entrepreneurs? How can I add value to them? And so I was thinking I could probably share our experience when we are able to share our resources and opportunities for micropreneurs to actually leverage and upscale. What I've learned about our experience is that you can never tell that a business idea or a dream is not good enough. Again, you can never tell that a business idea or a dream is not good enough. I gained this valuable insight from shared leadership and accountability that we have established in the organization. It has drawn team members to be passionate about making things possible because they were given a safe space to be part of the decision and execution of pivoting strategies. We formed task force groups, mostly led by rank and file employees, to champion these strategies. And allow me to quickly share some insights from this experience. The pandemic forced us to close operations because we were considered as an essential despite the demands for mobility and transport safety. But we took a step back and listened to what our employees have in mind first. And here are, three things I'd like to share. Number one, from motorcycles to catalysts in uplifting lives through mobility. Hence the campaign Kaagapay sa Lakbay. From a straightforward retail business to now a partner in giving the normal working class Filipinos an asset registered under their name, dignity, and even alternative livelihood. Again, find that deeper purpose on what your product or service represent and align it with your own reason for being. Second, digital transformation is just a door, but stakeholders as main drivers is actually the key. A lot of us pivoted our businesses online, but we took a step ahead and invested on people and their stories. People who are our employees, customers, suppliers, and partners. We've made their experience as our driver, and we gained credible marketing for free on their networks, even on simple conversations and their social media stories. Stories like having an asset registered under their name, solving their commuter woes, having their own delivery business, or employees being valued by employers because of a motorcycle reward. And finally, earn 1,000 folds by giving back. The establishment of Hope on Wheels gave us the platform to get in touch with the community, provide livelihood for unemployed and underemployed, and eventually made them micropreneurs themselves because the bikes that they use will eventually become their own asset. Just to cap it off, our numbers vastly improved despite the challenges. The credit goes to shared leadership, innovation, and focusing our attention to what truly matters. Again, never underestimate an idea or a dream. It can potentially change lives, and the ripples will actually amaze you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Louis, for sharing. And thank you once again to all of our speakers. Before we move on though to the panel discussion, I would like to share with you all a short video presentation. Thank you very much for that. I also want to say hi to everyone on Facebook Live. We are live streaming through the BNI Taguig region Facebook site. So to everyone watching from there, a nice warm welcome from all of us at BNI. With that, we are going to begin now our panel discussion. Panelists, I'd like to ask you all once again to please turn on your videos and unmute your microphones as we're going to go into a bit of a discussion. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again, Jose, Davey, Bet, Dr. JP, Kimmy, and Louie. Hi guys, now we're all together. We're gonna go for a round of questions really quick for the panel discussion. The first question, Jose, what are the specific changes or shifts? What specific changes or shifts did you observe in the fitness industry when the pandemic hit? If there were any, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
If there were any.
If there were any, do you see them as temporary or as long-term?
Okay. Two questions. That's two questions. I'll just choose one. I'm just kidding. All right. So the changes, obviously, everyone went online. So before the pandemic, our tagline was, "We bring the workouts to your workplace." So we would go to the office, send the coaches there. They do their thing, right? But now we're competing against every studio that went from offline. Now they're online. So we actually have more competition. So like I said, I think, luck comes to those who are prepared. So I was prepared. I got lucky. I kept my network wide. So my reach was good. And because of that, they partnered with me and, my sister and a few other friends who are also influential in the fitness industry. And we actually sold like millions within a few months. And I'm grateful for that, but I know it wasn't luck. And the second question, I really don't know where we're going, but I definitely have my ear on the ground, listening to what's happening, making sure that we're ready to pivot again. Traveling na yun.
True. I love that. Luck comes to those who are prepared. That is a good key point. Once again, I'd like to just tell everyone that we are live in the BNI Taguig Philippines Facebook page. So for anyone who can't join in on the Zoom or you want to share it around, please refer to them that webpage. All right. Our next question. Actually, Davey, another two-parter. With the success of your shift from booth fabrication to printing, what plans or strategies did you employ to continue your success? And what success tips can you share to those who plan on transforming their own business?
Mm-hmm. So when we shifted our focus to printing, another service in the company, we really banked onto the relationships we built before pandemic. So that's really where I am going here, that you are only as good as your network. So make sure that you grow your network, continue to learn from other people, continue to talk to other people, talk to other industry. Don't be stuck into where you are, because you never know what's gonna happen. So if things happen and if things change, at least you're ready. At least you're committed to work with other people because they also they are also willing to help out with you.
Yes. I think, you have a very good point. And like the story of you with the vegetable vendors, you don't know where this network is going to come from. And it's now we're in this like sort of forced convenience where we have web tools and we're pushed to use them, and we have this opportunity now to reach out and build more. All right. Thank you very much for sharing that, Davey. Guys, once again, for those of you in the Zoom, please type in your questions in the chat below. I see Miss Jojo has typed the question. We will definitely get to that. And please, everyone else, we encourage you to please type your questions in. The next questions I have, though, are for our president, Miss Bet Bet. Miss Bet Bet, once again, another two-parter. Was there any part of the process of going from corporate to running your own business that you found particularly challenging? And how did you get past that challenge?
Honestly, it was scary and depressing. I worked for corporations all my life. Ever since I graduated, I always had an assured monthly income with bonuses when we perform well, which I always did. So I had a comfortable life, and I could not really ask for more. But because of this thing that happened to the family, so you will probably think, why in the world would it be difficult for someone who was heading and managing big companies before to start a new business? I turned around losing companies into profitable ones when I was working. So they should be a no-brainer, right? But number one, I realized when you start your own business, you don't have the instant infrastructure. You don't have staff to do the things for you. You start by doing everything yourself. Like, I would book the Grab, I would call the supplier, I would order, I would prepare the DR, I would prepare the invoice. So I started with a one woman show. So after praying hard, God opened the door, and with a leap of faith, I made a firm decision to go for it. And coupled with the opportunity to be a part of BNI, I found the strength and confidence to push forward into becoming an entrepreneur with absolutely zero experience. And so for a song, it's a joke. Imagine having 50 business owners and leaders doing sales and marketing for me and my sanitation and disinfection chemicals, and I don't even have to pay them a single centavo. So I had all the support I needed in starting up my own company. And we have lawyers, tax experts, HR people, systems, printers, marketing gurus, name it, and BNI has it. I can count on all these people who are very much willing and able to support me and my new business.
Thank you very much, Miss Bet Bet. Yes, piggybacking off of what Davey said a while ago, it is very daunting, definitely, to jump into an entrepreneurial pursuit because you feel like you're doing it yourself. But it's always good to remember that there are a lot of us right now who are all looking and trying to build something for ourselves as well, and we don't have to do it alone. We can always reach out and always build a network of other people who are striving just like us, and using those connections to actually help each other support. Thank you very much for sharing that, Ms. Bet. Next up, Dr. JP, I have a question for you. Most of these are really going to be two-parters. So after sharing your experiences as a doctor and as a businessman, what are your next steps for further growing your business? And what factors or signals do you consider when laying down these strategies?
Wow, that's that's such a deep question. Pero I think one of the things that I've learned in MBA and my in business school is that you have to learn about this framework called SWOT. SWOT. strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. So, strength is what you already have. Weaknesses are something that we lack. Opportunities are things out there that can help you be more successful. And threats are things that could actually hinder you. So once you know these four things, it's easy for you to move forward. And sometimes kasi what happens with us is we would have this thing na parang we overthink. And sometimes we really have to get ourselves out of that situation and just do something. So that's one of the things that I learned also in business school is that sometimes you have to do what you don't like. And sometimes with passion, kasi diba we were taught when we were younger na parang, oh, you have to do your passion. And it might get you somewhere. Ganyan. But sometimes, depending on the times, you really have to just do what you don't like. And if it does help you with what you, I mean, like with what happened to me, I needed to get financial help right away. But you know, what else can I do? And nobody goes out anyways. And how can I see patients? Diba? So you just have to do what you have to do. It doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of times we will think na parang, oh, when you set up a business, it has to have all these things. But then sometimes if you just think about it, when you overthink those things, you already passed that moment na parang, oh, that was such a good idea in the first place. And yun, you just have to take a leap. If you fall, it's okay. Because you know you can stand up again. But if you become successful, don't let it go to your head. Always look for the next opportunity, like how you are when you were at your lowest point in life. And one of the things that is really, really important, like what Bailey and Jose and Miss Bebet were saying a while ago, is that relationship really works. Diba? And that's what I learned with BNI. I mean, whether you're up there or down there, they will always be with you. And when you care for people, people truly cares for you as well. So I think that's for me. Does that make sense? So
absolutely, yeah, it absolutely
Thank
makes
you.
sense. Thank you so much for sharing that. We have a lot to get through pala today. So I'm gonna go through the questions a little bit more quickly. Panelists, since we have Q&A coming up, I'd like to ask you for this section to answer a little bit as quickly as you can or as concisely as you can. Kimmy, this one's for you. In a business that deals with people, what differences did you notice with instructing students compared to coaching people? And were there any certain hurdles that you faced with the changing of your clientele?
Mm-hmm. So with that, no, it's a bit challenging in the online space to establish that sense of connection and trust. And so it really took a bit of getting to know, okay, who are the people that we are looking to serve? No? And that's something that BNI has helped me with, also really becoming specific, and that it's okay to be specific, because we really cannot serve everyone at once. And so just taking that and serving that particular group in an excellent manner. So I think that's something that we learned to do along the way, to listen and also to witness wherever people are at, and providing a certain set of tools. And some of them can work for some while the others won't, and that's okay. So being open to that.
Yes, the personal approach always works out really well. All right, thank you so much for sharing that. Louis, we're on to you. Considering your experiences as a businessman, what roles do you think micro enterprises have on the economy? Or what differences can an emerging number of micro enterprises have?
Well, again, thank you, Jello. The question is really quite a bit deep and difficult to answer, but allow me to just try my best to squeeze in the thoughts that I have in just a minute. But the quickest answer, of course, it's very crucial. The role is really very big. Recently, I've gotten across a study from ILO and ADB, and it actually reveals to us that globally, micro, small, and medium enterprises actually represent about 70% of the global employment and 50% of the global GDP. So hearing these figures, you can actually conclude right away that the contribution of MSMEs is something that you cannot ignore. However, during the pandemic, they were hardest hit. And in fact, in our country, it has been a major concern rather, even before the pandemic pa. Kasi informal sectors and MSMEs are very vulnerable. Meaning to say, structures are weak, jobs are very precarious. In fact, di ba, a lot of Filipinos actually lost their jobs. 5 million in average have lost their jobs. Hence, I think our role here is as entrepreneurs, let's work together to beef up the MSME so they can beef up the economy. Of course, the government interventions such as fiscal, monetary policies can help, but let's see what else can we do, diba, in our own capacity to help the economy. MSMEs need to have access to additional funds such as loans, grants, dole outs, and etc. Encourage them and to encourage and help them for business continuity, and also to support them to adopt new technology, such as using social media, for example, and strategies for sustainability like upscaling, diversifying,
Yes.
and getting across what the complex customer opportunities or needs rather are demanding from us. And within that ecosystem, as entrepreneurs, let's support them, let's coach them. After all, they will eventually become our partners. Just one very quick example from our own experience. In our industry, we have supported unemployed individuals to start their own motorcycle delivery or even parts business, and they're now pretty much very successful. They have become our valued partners.
That's amazing, amazing answer. Thank you so much, Louis. Everyone, before we continue, I'd like to remind you that if you have any questions for our speakers, you're more than free to type them down in the chat. I see some of our panelists have actually been answering also in the chat. Hopefully, we'll be able to answer most of your questions in the Q&A. However, we're going to go back up to the top. Jose, I have another question for you. Based on experience in your industry and as a businessman, what words of wisdom can you share to other business owners about adapting to the change in the market while still being able to keep their business afloat?
You know what? One thing that always motivated me. Now, I don't want to sound like a villain or anything, but I think this is weeding out the weak, right? For me, negative reinforcement always worked for me. So if someone were to tell me you can't do it, then I always say, I'll show you, right? Because it's always been like that when I was growing up. But I can't blame them because I was a wild child. So I think that's it for me.
All right. Thank you so much. Definitely, there is that other side, that motivating factor. Davey, I have a question for you. What risks and opportunities should business owners prepare for if they plan on transitioning into a new business model or starting a new business?
I think that's a very broad question, and I cannot really concisely answer that. But to me, personally, I think the risk that we don't really focus on are the health risks that we have. Not just the physical risk, physical health risk, but the mental, the toll that it gets to us whenever we venture into a new endeavor. So really, you have to, if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to really invest on becoming sustainably healthy while you work on your business, because sometimes we take that for granted, and it's very, very important. I said a while ago that your most important asset are your networks. Now I'm telling, I believe that it is your most important investment is yourself and your health and how you will function to move it forward.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. Ms. Bet, I have another for you. For individuals who are planning to start their own business, what is, if you can condense it down to one thing that you think they should prepare for, what is the one thing that they should prepare for if they're diving into this venture? Ms. Bet, you are muted.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. You have one question, but I have two answers. Have faith and follow your passion. So it is your passion for helping people, providing them solutions for their problems that will keep entrepreneurs successful through these hard times. believe in what you're doing, then you will become resilient and determined with all the obstacles that you're faced with. And find a nurturing environment. So here in BNI again, sorry, I just can't stop talking about BNI. We have business owners and leaders who are more than willing to share their expertise and experience. We have so many training materials, podcasts, conferences, webinars to help us. Listening to insights and the real world experiences of successful business leaders are invaluable to aspiring entrepreneurs like me, and it will better prepare us for our own success.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bet. Yes, I think you make some excellent points there. Dr. JP, we're on to you. Back to you. In a way, many doctors, especially private ones, also practice business, since many of them have to go through the same processes that business owners do. With this in mind, what was starting a multifunctional lab like compared to an optometry clinic? And how can others overcome these specific challenges of like being a working professional and running a business?
Wow, you really pick our brains.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I think from what I mentioned a while ago, you just have to do what you need to do sometimes. And moving from an optical clinic, during my mom's time, it was me and her. So technically, we were just doctors in our clinic, seeing our own patients. We didn't even have a secretary. I think moving towards the multifunctional clinic, I think it really helped me step up. Kasi like what in the Pulse kanina, diba? You have to do the things that you need to do. And sometimes hindi mo talaga alam. And you just learn on the fly. And like, say for example, accounting. Who does accounting? Well, except Miss Beth Toledo. She's a really good accountant from Iconic. So you have to, you really have to understand all these things, and you have to do it on the fly. You don't have to like it. It's not ideal, but you have to do it for it. And I think what was really helpful was the support system that I got with. That's what I got with Iconic. No? They were really supportive, and they were really giving ideas, and they would really inspire and encourage you. And there were times na, when my mom passed away, I remember Miss Jojo would say, "Hey, how are you?" Because during the time I was the vice president of the chapter, and I cannot be gone for long, and she helped me actually to get back on my feet and work, and get back to the chapter and really move. For me, it was a really an encouragement for me na parang to move up and really move forward. Also with BNI, which is very interesting, like especially in the chapters, diba? It was really designed that you would have different categories, and only one person per category will be there. And when you have one-to-one with each of the members, they would have different opinions about things, and they would really, you would be able to pick their brains and from their experiences as well. And I think that's how you are able to move forward from there, and get their ideas and like apply it to what you do right now.
Yes.
So
All right.
I think that's a really great help.
Thank you so much for sharing that. No problem. Thank you so much for sharing that. Next up, we have another question for Kimmy. Kimmy, considering that your type of business may be considered a niche in our country, have you experienced any hurdles coming from this situation? And if so, how were you able to overcome them?
Interesting question. Thank you, Jello. With that, it's challenging to share about what we do exactly. And so what we do is we would show instead of simply telling. So sometimes we would conduct public workshops wherein anyone could attend and see it for themselves, how we conduct the workshops or how we do the practices. And I guess something also that we were encouraged to do is just to really create that safe space or that breathing room, wherein anyone from any area or background, no matter what age they are, to be able to share and be open at that. So yeah, just creating that space of non-judgment.
The space of non-judgment. Absolutely. All right. Thank you very much for sharing that, Kimmy. We're moving on now to Louis for our last question in this panel discussion. Louis, keeping that many unfulfilled, sorry, keeping that many uplifting initiatives keeping the many uplifting initiatives you've done in mind, how can business owners make their processes and or businesses be more sustainable and or beneficial to them, like their employees and the customers?
Aha. So here's another tough one, but yeah. Last year we've noticed that a lot of us actually talk about pivoting. It's actually a buzzword. Some of us have loosely used it, and everyone was excited. But I think apart from thinking about pivoting strategies, I think it's also timely to think about sustainability. It's also very critical. Top of mind is, of course, there has to be succession planning for leadership, network, business acumen, and resources. You need to integrate these plans to your strategies. Now, for succession planning and sustainability to have even more sense, is you actually need to consider your key stakeholders. Some questions that you might want to ask yourselves is, well, will these strategies impact them? Will they see value into it? Are they even part of it to begin with? Will your business continue to be relevant if sustainability is actually a priority? We need to be very adamant and explicit about it. Make sustainability a core value, meaning everything that you do, you need to make sure that's very clear that if it will not contribute to sustainability, you need to park it for now. The more actually, the more that you think about your employees, customers, and partners, the more that they grow. And when they grow, you also grow. The more lives that you change, the more people you gain, people who rally behind you, your vision, and your business. And, never be afraid or doubtful of creating other leaders, other potential business owners, because they will beef up your ecosystem, provide more opportunities to learn, replicate more leaders, more potential. So you not only allow your business to succeed, but you also actually become stewards for others. So a thriving and a lasting business is a business that is not afraid to make others successful.
All right. Thank you so much, Louis. Now we're going to open up the panel discussion into a Q&A, and we're going to hear from the people in our audience here at Zoom. Since we have a limited time, we're going to only choose a few questions from the chat box. But don't worry, everyone. If you have more questions, you may schedule a one-to-one chat with any one of our panelists here, for those of you who are BNI members. All right. So we're going to move on now to the first question. This one's actually addressed to Davey. It's from Miss Judy. How is the volume of your business or printing load now? Aside from the project you had with veggies, how else have you compensated some of the lost sources from before? Sorry, Davey, you are
Yes,
muted.
yes, I'm muted. Yeah, I think I answered that in the chat box. But to everyone's information, surprisingly, it didn't go as successfully as like maybe double our numbers for 2020, but it was able to tide us over alongside with the other parts of our business. So much of that came from maybe siguro at least 30% of that came from the referrals that I got from BNI, and then also the budding entrepreneurs, those who are developing their products, looking for packages. So these are the ones that we catered to, and we were able to adjust our packages for them because the mindset that we have during the pandemic and still right now is to be able to help each other, because you never know when are they able to help you back. So profit is still challenged right now, but we are we are thinking of it as an investment in the future, that we are helping out people so that people will also survive and people can thrive in the future as well.
Thank you so much for answering that, Davy. We have another question from Jim Hua, which Miss Bet, I think you might have answered it in chat, but I'll ask it anyway for those in Facebook Live who don't have access to the chat. Jim asked, for the alcohol business, how do you scale your business and adhere to the protocols required to run your business? How are you handling your business differently compared to your previous work to avoid contaminating COVID, since you may need to organize logistics also for delivery of the orders and such? You're muted, Ms.
I'm
Beth.
on mute. Sorry. Yeah, the supplier, the owner of the manufacturing company is a good friend. So she knows my situation. And she agreed that she would deliver the orders directly to my clients, and my clients just deposit the payment to me. And for the documentation, it's either we do it by email or I send it by Grab. For individual orders, I just book by Grab, and the individual pays for it. But now, since business is growing, I through the collaboration again with a BNI member, so I now have a warehouse, and this member is the owner of the logistics company. So he does domestic shipments from Holo to Apari. So together with all his other shipments, he agreed that he can also deliver and do multiple drop-off points for my alcohol orders. And because I just ride with all his other orders, so the cost for me is really very, very low. So that's how BNI collaboration works.
Thank you very much for sharing that. All right, our last question from the crowd is actually for Kimmy from PD Ongchanko. Can you tell us the different workshops that you might have running right now, Kimmy?
So right now, one of the most, I would say, signature one would be the laughter wellness program. So especially here in the Philippines, no, we're naturally happy, and so we emphasize that the first step is to really recognize, okay, what are we feeling, no? So starting off with that, and then doing a few laughter exercises that allow us to maximize our breathing, at the same time like work out the muscles of our face and signaling to the mind to release some oxytocin and serotonin, no? So naturally making us feel uplifted.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing. And with that, we are going to end our Q&A session, but we're not done yet, everyone. We have the lightning round set of questions. Now, just to tell everyone at home and why those of us in the production are really excited about this, our panelists don't know any of the questions that I'm about to ask. They have never been introduced to any of these. And these are going to be rapid fire. Panelists, I want you to answer as quickly as you can because we don't have a lot of time. So everyone get ready because this is gonna be a lot of fun. Jose, we're up on you. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Jose, would you rather have money or more time?
More time.
Biceps or abs?
You can always make abs.
Madulas o magaspang?
English, please. Canadian English.
Oh my God. I cannot think right now. We're switching. Next.
Smooth or not
Christmas
smooth?
bonus, smooth or not, smooth or rough?
Smooth.
All right. Christmas bonus or Christmas party?
Christmas party.
Extra small or extra large?
Extra large.
Morning or evening?
Morning. I'm a morning person. BNI.
Shaving or waxing?
Shaving.
Nice.
Waxing.
All
I
right,
don't know.
thank you. Dr. JP, you're next on lightning round. Get ready.
Oh my
Unmute.
God.
Dr. JP, Sinovac or Sputnik 5?
Sinovac.
Ivermectin or Lianhua?
Lianhua.
Turok or Hugot? Turok or Hugot?
Turo? What's that?
May protection
No idea.
o walang protection?
Protection.
Always
Always.
hot or always cold?
I like it cold.
1 round or 3 rounds?
3 rounds.
Malambot o matigas? Time's ticking. Come on.
6 malambot.
All right. Okay, Louis, you're next. Get ready, Louis. Are you ready? Here we go. Work from home or work in office?
Work at the office.
Kawasaki or Yamaha?
Oh, that's tough, Kawasaki.
Fast or slow?
Oh, fast.
Zombie outbreak or alien invasion?
Ah, zombie outbreak.
Straight or curly?
Curly.
Exercise or diet?
I'd rather do diet.
Older or younger?
Older.
All right, Kimmy, are you ready? This is your lightning round. Ready?
Game.
Sneaker or stiletto?
Sneakers.
Shorts or leggings?
Leggings.
Be a dragon or be a unicorn?
Dragon.
Martial law or COVID?
Ah! None of the above.
Nice. Long hair or short hair?
Short hair.
Planado o biglaan?
Biglaan. Spontaneous.
Lights on, lights off.
Lights on.
All right. Miss Bet Bet, this is your time. Miss Bet Bet, would you rather have more money or more time?
More time.
Half pay or no work, no pay?
Half pay.
All right. Be an adult your whole life or be a kid your whole life?
Be a kid my whole life.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Pera o bayog?
Bayong.
Wet or dry?
Wet.
Soen or triumph?
Triumph.
All right. And now our last contestant for the evening, Miss Davy Reyes. Davy,
Fire.
time travel or teleportation?
Time travel.
Hotel or motel?
Hotel.
Perfect job or perfect relationship?
Perfect job.
Plancha o laba?
Plancha.
Long and thin or short and wide in terms of paper?
Long and thin.
Tender or juicy?
Juicy.
Soft or hard?
Hard.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much to the panelists for engaging and allowing me to do my little fun stuff at the end. How is everyone? All of you guys watching on Zoom and on Facebook Live, did you guys have fun? I hope you learned from your speakers. We want to hear your thoughts. So we hope you guys could take the time out to answer our survey, which can help us to improve our future webinars. We'll leave the link in the chat box below for Zoom and in the comment section of our Facebook Live. And so once it's shared, let me just copy that down and post it in our Zoom to everyone there. All right. And that's it for our event, guys. Thank you so much to all of our speakers for giving us their time amidst their busy schedules and for sharing their wisdom with us.
But Jello, I want to know what's the
yeah.
answer. I don't know what's the result of the questions that you asked.
Actually, these questions were meant to tell us a little bit more about who you are. There is no right or wrong, Miss Bet Bet. They are if you're familiar with any psychology tests, they just give us a glimpse of who you are, unadulterated and unrestricted. All right. At this point, we're going to ask our speakers. Thank you so much, guys. Once again, we'd like to ask you to kindly turn off your videos. Everyone, please give a round of applause virtually for our panelists for this evening: Joey, Louis, Kimmy, Davey, Dr. JP, Miss Bet Bet, and Did I get everyone? Dr. JP, Kimmy, Didi, Jose. Yes, and Jose. All right. We at BNI hope you all have learned a lot from our enriching event. We're especially excited to see how you'll apply your insights and learnings from our session into your own business. Remember to stay tuned to our social media pages and Viber groups for upcoming sessions in the webinar series. So as shown in the screen, we're inviting you to register and attend our upcoming webinar sessions. All right, our upcoming webinar sessions, let me zoom in a little bit. There we are. We have a revolution of virtual platforms. The graphics are a little bit blurry in my screen, so forgive me for that. There. May 14 to 21, May 14, 2021, Friday at 5 to 6 p.m. we have the Revolution of Virtual Platforms, which discusses online platforms for business. Our third webinar, May 25 on Tuesday, is Redefining Healthcare as Self-Care. And on May 26, which is a Friday, May 28, sorry, on a Friday, we have Redesigning Work from Home, how to develop your workspace in your home environment. So hope you guys come by and see and join us for these sessions as well. If you have any inquiries or questions, you may contact us directly at through our Facebook page or through our Viber groups. Just hit us up there and we'll be happy to answer any of your concerns. Once again, I'm your host, Jello Clavano, and this has been our session for Future Redesigned, the Resurgence of Micropreneurs. Thank you for staying with us, and we hope you'll join us again at our next event. God bless and have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.